Hello, and welcome to LSET Tech Byte. Today we are creating a simple image slider using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this video, we'll guide you through each step to build your very own image slider for your web projects. Let's start by understanding the HTML structure of our image slider. Here we have a basic HTML document starting with the doc-type HTML declaration, followed by the opening HTML tag. Within the head section, we have the title of our web page set to image slider. In the body section, we have a container div that wraps around our image slider and navigation buttons. Inside this container, we have another div with a class of image container which holds our images. Each image is represented by an img tag with a unique ID and the class active for the first image. Additionally, we have a separate div for our navigation dots and buttons for navigating between images. Now we have linked to an external CSS file called style CSS to style our slider. Finally, at the bottom of our HTML file, we have a reference to an external JavaScript file called script.js, where we'll implement the functionality for our image slider. Now that we've covered the HTML structure of our image slider, let's move on to the CSS part to design it. First, we have a universal selector along with its pseudo elements before and after. We're resetting padding and margin to 0 and setting box sizing to border box, ensuring consistent sizing for our elements. Next, we target the body element. We're setting its height to 100 VH to occupy the full viewport height, giving a pleasant viewing experience. The background color is set to a dark shade of gray, and we're using the Arial font family for text. Moving on to the container class, which wraps around our image slider. We're giving it a white background, a width of 60% with a minimum width of 420 pixels, and positioning it absolutely in the center of the viewport using the transform property along with left and top. It also has a subtle border radius and box shadow for a sleek look. Now let's focus on the image container class. This is where our images reside. It's set to relative positioning to contain its absolutely positioned children. Each image tag is set to 100% width and hidden by default except for the one with the class active. The dot container class holds our navigation dots. It's a flex container with evenly spaced buttons representing each image. The active dot is styled differently with a background color matching the background of the slider. Lastly, we have styling for the navigation buttons positioned absolutely on the sides of the slider. They have a circular shape, dark background color, and white text for contrast. Now that we've styled our image slider with CSS, let's move on to the JavaScript part to give it functionality. Alright, let's dive into the JavaScript code that powers our image slider. First, we initialize two variables i and j to keep track of the current image index and the total number of images respectively. Next, we select all the dot buttons and image elements on our web page using document.querySelectRaw. Now, let's see the next function. When the next button is clicked, it removes the active class from the current image, calculates the next image index using modulo arithmetic to ensure looping, and adds the active class to the next image. It then updates the indicator dot to reflect the current image. Similarly, the pref function works in a similar manner but decrements the image index instead of incrementing it. The indicator function updates the indicator dots to reflect the current image. It removes the background color from all dots and adds it to the dot corresponding to the current image index. Lastly, the dot function is called when a dot button is clicked. It removes the active class from all images, adds it to the image corresponding to the clicked dot, updates the current image index, and updates the indicator dots accordingly. And there you have it. With this JavaScript code, our image slider becomes fully functional by the end of the video. You can see that the image slider is ready. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to get updates.